Hello there, my name is Jeff, and welcome to episode 66 of the Game Sharks podcast, where we talk about our favorite thing in the world, April Fool's Day's pranks on the internet. April Fools, I'm sick of these April Fool's pranks on the internet.
Jeff, you muted yourself.
Did I? Hello?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There you are.
April Fools, motherfuckers. No, for real though, I'm fucking sick of April Fool pranks on the internet. All these dumb articles about like, this movie got introduced or it just got announced, or like this game is getting these crazy
fake
characters.
announcements, fake
like, trailers. We live in a world, such a strong world of misinformation that I think practical joke pranks on the internet is a bad idea now. It needs to stop.
There are some that are okay. Like when there's no question about it and it's just a fun joke or play, then it's fine. Like Pokemon Twitter changed their icon to Bidoof and have been posting about Bidoof all day, and that's great.
That is good. But like,
you see, that's wholesome and fun.
But today, our buddy Jin, he texted me and was like, "Did you see they're making a Dynasty Warrior movie?" And I said, "Did you see that it's April 1st?" It's like I get bombarded with people who just fall for this stuff, and it's annoying.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I did forget that it was April Fool's Day because, I mean, everything's been so weird lately anyway.
Yeah,
the days kind of just blend together.
It's like, it's not a holiday, so I always forget about it until I see all these erroneous claims and whatnot on my screens.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I would love to see it stop.
I think the favorite one I saw today was like, you know, now how they did like a Dunkin' coffee cold brew beer. Well, they tried to announce that they were going to do a sausage, egg, and cheese beer.
Derek, you're the beer guy here.
That's how you get me to drink beer.
So my roommate texted me. I'm like, it took me a second to remember that. Oh wait, it's April 1st, but it was just strange enough to say, like, would they actually try that?
I mean, I feel like they turn all sorts of weird things into beer.
See, there's some April Fool's pranks though that are so like desirable that eventually the people who made the joke end up committing to it. I might have said this on the podcast before, but Project M a few years ago released an April Fool's trailer for Turbo Mode, which is like every move is cancelable into any other move. And so it's basically like, if you know what you're doing in that mode, the match is just like times 300 steroids mode. And it wasn't just an April Fool's joke, and then they made it real.
I don't know. I'm done with April Fools. That's the end. That's all I have to say.
I'm pretty sure you said this exact same thing last year.
No, we didn't.
I'm done with April Fools.
We didn't record on April Fools last year, I thought. But the premise is there. It was like a day off.
Around the same time.
Yeah, whatever. I'll probably say it every year.
Let it be fucking known.
Yeah. And video games. Joining me this week is Andrew.
Hello.
Derek.
Hello.
Adam.
Hey.
And returning for the second time, Jose. Welcome back, Jose.
Thank you. Hello.
We don't have a ton of news this week. It's been a pretty light news week. Our main topic, in celebration of Easter, which is this upcoming weekend, we are going to be talking about Easter eggs in video games. Just as like a broad topic, what are some of our favorites? How do we define Easter eggs? Why have they disappeared? You know, the general discussion of Easter eggs. All right, let's talk about the news. Like I was saying before, not a ton. We have two quick things we're going to get out of the way, and then honestly, everything after that is about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. But first things first, quick reminder, Mario is dead. Nintendo has killed him in a public fashion. That's the joke going around the internet. But in all seriousness, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection and what was the other one? Mario 35 have been taken off of the Nintendo Switch digital store. Apparently,
and the Super Mario Maker servers.
Oh yeah, for the original Super Mario Maker, those are now down. And apparently, in the Nintendo World Store in New York, or any like Nintendo official store, they're pulling the physical copies off of the shelves.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yeah, obviously you'll still be able to go to like a Target or a Walmart or a GameStop and buy them from there until they run out of stock. But yeah, Mario's dead.
Didn't that Fire Emblem 1 remake get canceled today too?
Which, oh man, I forgot to buy it. It was only like $8, and I wanted to have it just to have it and like play it once in a while. And I told
Sorry, not today. Yesterday.
Yeah, it would have been yesterday. Was the last day, the 31st.
I believe it was Jeff Grubb that coined the Nintendo executes Mario meme.
I mean, honestly, I feel like they missed an opportunity, it being April Fool's Day, where they could have just, on all the official websites, taken down all the Mario icons and just put up Luigi instead.
They did that in 2013.
The year of Luigi.
The year of Luigi.
Good year.
They should have just brought it back for a day. They had the assets.
Actually, that year was like one of Nintendo's worst financial years.
Exactly. Would have been an amazing joke.
Pin the blame on Luigi.
Now that's an April Fool's joke. Like, just dive right into the meme that already existed.
So yeah, Mario is dead. And the other quick piece of news is, remember last week we talked about the Pikmin AR game from Niantic? Apparently, there's already a playable demo of it in Singapore. No one is allowed to upload any footage of it, so we don't have any any insight on what it looks like and what it plays like. But people are testing it, so this is much further along than we thought, and the potential release window for the worldwide release could fall in that like summer time frame where I was talking about, where most people would start to be vaccinated and everyone's going to want to be outside roaming around, spending time with people. So obviously, like we said, it's not going to be Pokemon Go levels, but there's potential there for some people to hop on and maybe get interested enough to put money into it. I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw, I didn't include it in our news doc at all, but there's Niantic teased AR glasses. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
Oh,
I did not.
let me see if I can find it.
I didn't see it because I don't have their glasses.
It's not an April Fool's joke?
No, this was like several days ago. This is a
Okay,
real
okay.
thing. Here you go. I will put this in the thing. Pardon the stream for a second. Here we go. Yeah. So basically,
I'm sorry, I just saw Derek's ASCII Fortnite dance for a second.
yeah. So yeah, it looks like they're teasing some sort of AR glasses to, obviously the main thing here is Pokemon Go. But I'm assuming it would be useful in their games. Like, I don't know if Ingress is still available and playable, or if they shut that down after Pokemon Go was so successful. And this new Pikmin game, maybe their Harry Potter game, because that was also Niantic. It was the Harry Potter one, right?
I think.
Yeah.
So imagine wearing these and just walking around the world, and then boom, you see an Ivysaur, and you're like, ball, catch it. And then boom, you see a Squirtle, and you're like, boom, ball.
And then you see a group of people and they're laughing at you.
Yeah. I don't know. These look like they could. It's only like a sliver of the band and a little bit of one of the frames, so they could look like normal enough glasses. But
except for the giant Niantic logo on the side there.
Yeah. But yeah, this is just a tease. We don't really know anything else about it. But it's kind of interesting.
I mean, honestly, that'd be cool. Like the possibilities are pretty cool about having they get just built right into your line of sight.
Yeah, I think if it is implemented well, it could be super cool. But if it doesn't work well, I'm sure it's going to be expensive and you're going to look like a dweeb using it. So they need to really make this apparatus perfect.
Well, joke's on them. I look like a dweeb no matter what I'm doing.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, this podcast,
beat you to it this time.
Game Sharks podcast, where we talk about our favorite thing in the world, self-loathing, and not being able to fucking speak. All right, rest of the news. Oops, I just closed a tab I didn't want to. Rest of the news that we're going to be talking about is all about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077, because we can't seem to get away from this. Just like Switch Pro rumors, it is ever present. So I got 4 things here that are all CD Projekt related. So, first thing that happened was they acquired a Canadian game developer, and they are now called I think they're just CD Projekt Red Vancouver. So it's another division of CD Projekt Red. That was the first thing that happened. As much of a debacle as Cyberpunk 2077 was, they made all of their money back in pre-sales. So they definitely still made a buttload of money off of Cyberpunk 2077. We don't know how much they then lost from people returning the game, but you still assume that like they kept the vast majority of that money. So them buying another studio and expanding makes sense based on technically the success of the game. So, and out of that, we got news that they're going to start development in 2022 on a new Witcher game and a new Cyberpunk AAA game. So they don't really go into details, but it's up for interpretation whether like this is going to be The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk 2078, or if it's like a side game for Cyberpunk, some like smaller package, or it's Gwent 2 or like some other smaller Witcher thing. They don't really say, but obviously Witcher and Cyberpunk are their two biggest IPs that they work with. And I think it's safe to assume, I think Witcher 4 is a very safe, easy thing to assume.
Probably. By then, it'll be, by 2022, it'd be like, what, 7 years since
9
Witcher
years.
3?
No, was Witcher 3 2015?
Yeah,
I think it was
13. I think.
Was it 13?
I thought it was 2013. No,
I thought it was 15.
no, it's definitely 2015.
Is it 2015?
too bad we don't
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
internet.
Oh, right, that thing.
I had read somewhere that it might not necessarily be direct sequels, but just games that take place in their universe.
Yeah, in the universe. That makes much more sense to me.
So here's the thing, though. They're not saying that these games are going to be done in 2022. They're starting
But
them in 2022.
Right, yeah, they're starting.
So they're going to be
development.
done in 2031.
In 2077. The joke that never gets
Had to go
old.
for the joke.
So, yeah, obviously, I think because they picked up this new studio in Vancouver, they're going to have one group probably working on one, and then the other group working on the other. Maybe they'll both be working on both. I'm not sure. I'm not a game developer. I don't work for CD Projekt Red. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they know what their plan is. But another interesting thing that happened with CD Projekt Red was that they kind of announced that their Cyberpunk 2077 standalone game that they were planning on putting out is now canceled. They're not going to be doing it, which makes sense based on after the whole launch and debacle of Cyberpunk 2077. They still have a lot of goodwill they have to gain back from their fans and customers before they should make a new game. Because that was slated to come out, a year or two after the full game. And this was probably under the assumption that the full game was going to launch and be a huge success.
This game's still not even on PlayStation.
That's true. It's still not available on the PlayStation Store.
Which, by the way, happy 100 days of that.
Yeah, it's a little over 100 days now. That's crazy. It got taken down, less than a week after it launched?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It happened during our podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That is true.
it's breaking news.
I don't know. What do you guys think about this decision to not make the standalone multiplayer game?
All I can say is I predicted it.
Yeah, you did.
Did you?
I
Did we have that in bingo?
Yeah, it's in our bingo. But it sounds like from it sounds like from reading about their statement or whatever they said, that they basically, like you're saying, Jeff, they know they're like they wanted to make GTA Online but Cyberpunk Online basically,
Mm-hmm.
but the game didn't hit the masses like GTA did, so they know that like they can't make this game I'm sure it was gonna be like a bare bones experience at first kind of thing, and it was gonna we just want to get people into the world and we'll build it up just like Rockstar did with GTA
and Red Dead Online, right?
Yeah, and Red Dead Online, and there's no way they could do that. So it makes sense that they might just like add it on to the regular game eventually, but not have it be like its own standalone experience anymore.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is do you think they'll add multiplayer to the just regular Cyberpunk 2077?
That's what they said they're going to do.
That's what they said they're doing. Yeah,
They said they're definitely doing that. I thought they said they might do that.
either way, it makes sense because like they're already spending so much time and resources fixing Cyberpunk as it is. So if you're already messing with the code of that game a lot, just push it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't know how long. Like they've been talking about this they've been talking about the multiplayer for like three years, I think, since like early 2019. But we don't know how long they've like been working on it, how big, there's been very little plans except for last year when they said, actually, we're thinking about making it its own game now. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up eventually just getting scrapped altogether. Like it wasn't promised for the original game, so it's not like they're failing to deliver or whatever. It's just like, we canceled it because we want to focus on the actual game and get that fixed.
Because they have to focus on the actual game.
Yeah, there's not really much of a choice there.
Yeah. I guess that leads us into the last bit of news that is relating to Cyberpunk 2077. They released that first major patch that they were talking about. It was initially supposed to come out in February, and then the company got cyber hacked, which, So it's 1.2, and there is a massive list of patches out. And I'm gonna scroll down these patch notes and just at random pick a couple things to kind of give you the vibe of what it is they were fixing. So under the gameplay section, the NCPD spawn radius for when the player commits a crime has increased. Because, people you like committing a crime and then a police officer just blinking in behind you was kind of jarring and broken. Player can no longer cancel fall damage by performing a slide action when about to fall from greater heights. Cyber psychos and mini bosses are now immune to tranquilizer rounds and system reset quick hacks. Fix several door blockers that could make enemy NPCs stuck, preventing them from being killed. Jackie will now empty his clip before reloading in The Rescue.
Wow.
Here are some quest updates, just a couple at random. Takamura's appearance is now present in the holocall in Life During Wartime. Bob and Mitch will no longer clip through the flatbed while entering in with a little help from my friends. The TV in Tom's Diner can no longer be destroyed. If a player destroyed it before this update, it will now be fixed, and the news will be displayed correctly to progress playing for time. This list is even longer than the gameplay one. Added a physical reward for Regina for defeating all cyber psychos that can be found in her office. Still scrolling.
Basically,
I don't know if you heard me scroll. We're going to the open world section.
There's way too much stuff.
Fix an issue where achievements for completing district activities were not always unlocked. V will no longer get stuck behind the desk in the hospital lobby in Gig Cuckoo's Nest. Cinematic design fixes. Dum Dum will no longer walk on air when leading V to Royce in Second Conflict. Fix an issue of endless walking on the treadmill in Where Is My Mind, which blocked progression. Like, okay. It never.
My favorite one of these is Carrie's bathrobe is no longer incorrectly attached to his lower part of the body.
There's a section for environment and levels. Fix the issue where Basilisk could fall under the map when the door leading to Mikoshi is reached. Fixed issues with invisible colliders present on locations. There's a whole section for graphics, audio, animation. Fixed NPC shouting after being killed. Fixed NPC animation issues after skipping the ride. Fixed an issue where the weather state would not adjust correctly after loading saves and exiting to the menu. There's a whole section for UI. Visual effects for adding attribute points in character menu should no longer be missing after hovering over perks tree. Fixed item tooltip remaining on screen after closing item. There's a section for stability and performance. There's a section called miscellaneous. There's a PC specific section. There's a console specific section.
Jesus.
Okay.
There's like 4 pages of changes here.
So, I don't know about you guys, but when I read all of these, which did anyone read the entire list? Because I didn't.
No.
Fuck no.
I don't even own the game.
I
don't read things for games I play.
My first thought was, if you had to fix all of these, and we've talked about this to fucking death when the game came out, like for the last couple weeks after the game came out, like your game shouldn't have launched if you had to fix this many minute issues. Like,
But Jeff, our testers didn't find any issues.
yeah, that's fucking
it just
insane.
sounds like they just pushed out just a whole new fucking game with that update.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Like-
it's like I think we probably said around the launch, like when they implement these changes, maybe the game will be great eventually. The problem is that its reputation is sullied. I mean, not financially because it's still sold like a blockbuster,
Yeah.
but it's just like it's such a weird situation.
Yeah, the small details of these updates is what's fucking insane to me. Just like,
Yeah.
like how did all of these issues get through their bug testing? And like I've said, we've talked about this a ton. Go ahead, Derek.
I was gonna say because a lot of them, I did read through some of them, and some of them, like specifically the NCPD thing, that's not a bug. That's the feature, and they basically we were like, you know what? Maybe we can hide the fact that like the NPCs only the cops spawn like close to you. Maybe we can hide it, and then eventually, because you have so many people playing your game, people are starting to realize, wait a second, the cops literally spawn like 3 feet away from you. What the hell? Like, that's not how this should work. Like, if I kill someone in the middle of the desert, the cops shouldn't spawn 5 feet from me and run. Like, that's so stupid. Like, obviously, that's how. Like, you know, a lot of people were comparing it to GTA. Like, yeah, when you commit a crime in GTA, the cops spawn somewhere. Obviously, like the game isn't that, like, the entire, you know, games can't render entire worlds at the same time. Like, what's rendered is what you are seeing as a player usually. So they have to spawn, you know, a cop somewhere, because currently a cop probably isn't spawned where you're looking or whatever. And so it, like, but the fact that they were doing it in such a small radius, it's like, okay, that isn't it's not a bug. It's you made a dumb choice.
Yeah, how did no one think
took-
like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this?
Like,
It was just it feels like every system that they released with that game, they just took the shortcut on all of those systems.
Oh yeah, that's what's not. I think that's the problem. That's the thing, is they're not fixing bugs. They're finishing the development on
Yes.
Yep.
some of the features.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know, a bug like is something that isn't intended.
Yeah,
A lot of these
a graphical
things-
glitch, sure, but making it so that the prime mechanic of your game like actually works as intended, or let me not say as intended, because what they shipped with that game is absolutely scummy intentional. I mean, as advertised, because they advertised it to work a certain way, and what they gave us is not that.
Yeah.
I am very excited to play this game later this year, or whenever the PS5
In
version
3
comes out,
years.
because I think it's going to be. I think they're going to redeem themselves.
You think so?
I don't know what you guys. I think yeah. I think in like 5 years you're going to be seeing like meme posts about how cool Cyberpunk 2077 is, just like how people do that with Fallout New Vegas, which was a trash game at launch.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree.
At this point, is anyone going to go back now after this patch and play it?
Nope.
Not a chance.
Yeah,
Nope.
I'm waiting.
I think it's going to take
In 4 years, I will consider it.
it's going to take for me Derek saying, "No, this is good. You need to play it now," before I want to go back and play it.
Before you go back.
It
Yeah.
needs to hit Borderlands level of Steam sales before I'll consider buying it and playing it.
So yeah, that's Cyberpunk. They're working on it. I mean, none of these, all of the patch notes here, they're good things. Should have been done months ago. Should have been done before the game launched. But you got to take it as it comes, and they are taking the steps to improve it that they said they were going to. So that in itself is a positive. All right, let's talk about. That's it for news. Like I said, super slow news week, which isn't a bad thing because we're going to talk about games we've been playing, and I think there's a lot for us to talk about. A couple new things came out. Jose, we had you on this week for a very specific reason. You are the only ones of us that play Monster Hunter. So please talk to us about Monster Hunter Rise, which released last week.
Well, I have nothing but good news about Monster Hunter Rise. Honestly, the progression from starting out just blank to getting to the end game, or what is currently end game, because there's going to be an update this month to add more stuff, is actually very, very fluid and very easy to get into. The gameplay is very satisfying. The movement is unlike anything we've seen before in any of the other Monster Hunter games, with the introduction of the wire bug moves. If you don't know what those are, essentially, you've got a little bug. You can shoot it in any direction, and you'll kind of like lasso yourself to that, all sort of like Spider-Man almost.
That's so cool.
And
or like the Ori thing.
Exactly, yeah. And you can like climb mountains, run up walls, run across walls and stuff. And your weapons have wire bug skills, which take 1 or 2 wire bugs to activate, and they do a certain thing. They're very strong, or most of them are. And depending on how much damage you deal in terms of like wire bug damage to a monster, you actually get to tie it up with wire bugs and use it like a puppet and ride it and use it to like beat the crap out of other monsters around the area. And that in itself is really cool because you've never been able to mount monsters before and like use their skill set against other monsters. It's like playing Pokemon in a Monster Hunter game. It's weird.
Okay, I like that.
I dig it.
They did something new with the skills, where it's not quite the old style of skills where it would be a grid and you'd have a certain threshold that you had to get in terms of skill points before the skill was activated. Now it's you have a set amount of skills, and each skill has either a 1 to 5 or 1 through 7 points that you can allocate to it, and every point that you put into it does something for you. So it's not like you're slotting in and not getting anything out of it. Every time you put a point into a skill, it affects you in some way, which is actually pretty cool. Because before then, you'd kind of just put in 10 points into a skill and it would need 15, and you wouldn't have that skill until you hit that 15 threshold. Now, if you put in 3 out of 5 points, you get half of what you'd be getting if you had the full skill, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Making weapons is fun. The designs for the armor and the weapons are completely original and different, or well, most of them. The monsters are cool. Their new flagship Magnamalo is very fun to fight. He's like this big angry purple tiger that spits out like purple fire. He's crazy. Getting gear and playing with friends and getting into random lobbies is easy and it's fun, and most of the gameplay doesn't feel like you're running around and wasting time. There's always something for you to do because there's plenty of gathering points as you get around the map to the monster. There's various buffs that you can collect as you run around the mountains and the terrain. You can ride your dog like a horse and drift with him, which makes absolutely no sense, but it's funny.
Just like
and it makes you go really fast.
Actually, it kind of is because my dog drifts. He like his back legs outrun his front legs, and he like slides around. It's pretty crazy.
That's great.
My parents' dog used to do that. My parents' Great Dane. I'm the only person who can actually like stand above him and have my feet planted on the ground. Everyone else would be riding him.
Wait, so your Great Dane is basically the equivalent of a Palamute.
Yes.
That's cool.
He is my pal.
Sorry, go ahead, Jose.
God damn it.
The Palamutes are really cool. You get to put armor on them too. So like every monster that you fight has an armor set, and you can put it for your cat, your dog, and for yourself. And they have their own set weapons that you either make or upgrade to, and they all do different things. Like depending on the monster's element, you can get fire or water, thunder, paralysis, poison, etc., etc. And it's fun to just build around certain matchups. Like say you're fighting against a monster that's weak against water, you fight a water monster, build his gear, build his weapons, and then go fight the fire monster to kill it faster than you normally would. Um, and the community itself is pretty great. Like for the most part, there haven't really been any toxic people kind of telling you to hurry up or that you're bad or anything like that. Everybody's pretty supportive and love to help new people get into the game and get their gear and beat monsters that they normally wouldn't be able to do it by themselves. That's one of the reasons why I love Monster Hunter as a whole. Like World, the previous installment of Monster Hunter, which came to the main consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, and later on PC, was the same way. People love to get together and fight the big bads and get their gear. And for the most part, everybody was nice.
So
Yeah,
go ahead, Andrew.
I was gonna ask, if I were to hypothetically get into Rise, or Monster Hunter in general, would Rise be the place to do it? And how much time would I have to invest to get the full experience? Because it sounds like kind of one of those always online games where you are doing raids with people and you could put hundreds of hours in theory into it.
So actually, the game is separated between offline mode and online mode. So if you wanted to get into Monster Hunter, well, one, Rise is actually, I think, the best way to do it because they made the transition from going to low rank to high rank buttery smooth. Like they integrated ways for you to get through all 6 of the levels or different tiers of low rank. You can complete all of that, and then you can go and do 3 special assignment quests, which are harder than normal. And they would put you into the same rank that you'd be starting off with in high rank. And the game scales for difficulty. So from if there's 1 or 2 players in the game or in the hunt, the monster will be difficult enough to be okay for 2 people. If somebody leaves, it scales down to 1 person. If you're with 4 people, the monster will scale up to 4 and 3, etc. That thing. It goes up to 4. So Rise would be a good spot to do it because if you're playing by yourself, all of the monsters are perfectly beatable by yourself. The main thing about Monster Hunter is that you have to have patience and you have to practice. Like
Yeah, I've heard it's a very high skill stealing game.
Yes, for the older games. For World and for Rise, not so much. They've actually made it a little bit easier. For Rise, a lot easier, actually, to get into and learn the weapons. Because the monsters that you fight at the beginning are just pushovers. They're just kind of like a big rat or a weird velociraptor thing that runs around and chases you. And they don't swing very fast. They don't hit very hard, and it's just kind of to get you used to the weapons. The game does a good job of explaining how to use said weapons and how to maximize your damage or your movement or learn the monster's movesets, etc. It's all about really just honing your skills as a hunter in the game. The more you fight the monster, the better you get. And the easier it is for you to hunt other things. Like I've been playing Monster Hunter since 4 Ultimate, which came out on the 3DS back in like 2015, 2016, something like that. And I have the muscle memory from fighting a lot of the monsters, and I know how they attack and how they're going to react to certain things. But for somebody that's new, you'd have to, butt heads against the monster and get your ass beat a couple of times before you finally realize, like, oh, this is when I have an opening, or he's gonna do this, and this is where I can come in, or he's gonna fight this monster, he's gonna open up for a mount, etc. Overall, I think Rise is a very good spot to start if you're going to get into the Monster Hunter franchise. If you want something that's easier than normal, and looks very, very good too, because I haven't said anything about it yet, but the graphics in this game for a Switch game are phenomenal.
I have heard that. I heard it. They're like the character models are pretty stunning for being on.
They
a Switch.
look fantastic.
Don't say it, Derek.
Huh?
I
Derek.
said, don't say it, Derek.
It'd look
Okay.
better on a Switch Pro, is what Andrew is expecting Derek to say. Anyways,
Yeah. Well,
I
either
see
way,
him. I see him over there.
Thinking about it.
he's antsy. He's ready. I mean, either way, the game looks fantastic. It plays pretty well in terms of like performance wise. So there's not major stuttering or anything like that either, which is impressive considering how much water there is in the game and like how much detail there is in the terrain. Not to mention all the graphic effects that you get from hitting a monster or proccing a status or small explosions from certain attacks. When you have 4 hunters beating up on the same monster and they're all using an explosive weapon and the monster is just blowing up to bits, it's kind of hard to see, but the game doesn't tank in frames. So it's still like performance wise, it works out pretty good.
that's super impressive because
Right?
even with like Hyrule Warriors, which is the
Oh my god.
like either traditional Hyrule Warriors or the most recent one, anytime there was a lot going on screen, is particularly like with a lot of particle effects, you would notice the frame rate like tank to single digits sometimes. So the fact that this game is using probably like higher graphical fidelity and not having the frame rate dips and still having all these crazy particle effects is really impressive.
Yeah, it's super crazy, especially since Monster Hunter World was notorious for being poorly optimized. I went through hell and back just getting the game to be streamable on my computer, and my computer is beefy. Like, I don't understand how they think, or how Capcom thinks that having just insane amounts of unoptimized, useless code being run all the time is good for performance. It's a big fucking problem. But either way, Monster Hunter Rise runs really well on the Switch. It's fun. It's easy to get into, and if you have friends, it's even better. If you have friends to play with, to play with rather.
So I was interested in potentially picking it up, but like I don't see myself playing with other people a lot. So will I be losing a lot by trying to play this game entirely by myself?
No. You'd be able to go through every single quest by yourself and experience the game to its fullest.
Okay.
But you would be a fucking loser.
No.
Yeah, no, I've considered picking it up, mostly because everything I've ever heard about Monster Hunter makes it seem like I would really enjoy it. My main problem, or my main concern, is the time sink.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be, like, as much as I feel like I'd enjoy it, I don't want it to be another game that I'm going to spend hundreds of hours on, because I have too much to do with my allotted time.
It is a bit of a time sink.
Yeah.
Once you get to endgame, you're grinding for these things called talismans, which essentially are randomly generated. They can have up to 2 skills of any skill combination and any amount, and you're pretty much just searching for what's considered a god charm.
Mhm.
So skills that you'd want would be like quick sheath or weakness exploit or critical boost, skills that fit to pretty much any build to help amp up damage or performance or whatever, and allow you to use other pieces to make your build stronger. So that in itself is going to take a lot of time, unless you get like incredibly lucky and you just start getting crazy good talismans right off the gate, which is not gonna happen unless you I don't know. I don't know the kind of luck you get, but it's probably not going to happen if you're unlucky.
Jeff got the Sword of Kings and 2 Starmen, so
Yeah. And what was it? Oh, and I got the I forgot the name of it. The sword in Symphony of the Night.
Symphony, yeah.
That just
that's
breaks
right,
the game.
yeah.
It just like if you
The
hold
one
down
that
if you hold down the button, I got that in without farming. I just got it. So,
What?
Yeah. I have very good luck with rare item drops apparently.
Yeah. So you probably be getting plates and gems like nobody's business, so you'd probably be fine.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've considered picking it up. I haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
For similar reasons
'Cause
as to you,
we-
Andrew.
Because we almost got into World too.
We said
Like,
we were
at
going to get
a
into
certain
World,
point. Yeah.
and we were like, we're going to
It-
wait for the PC version to come out. And the PC
Yeah.
version came out, and no one talked about it. So
We
I was
just
like,
didn't-
I guess we're not playing Monster Hunter.
It was
Yeah.
no, trust me, it was a good idea not to get into the PC version of World, because that game is even grindier and even more time consuming than Rise.
Gotcha.
They forced you to grind for decorations, which essentially are just little gems that you slot into your armor, and they give you skills. Back in older games, you could make decorations out of monster parts. So it would be like you'd go hunt a certain amount of monsters for their parts, and then you'd go to the smithy and make the decorations and slot them in, and that was that. In World, they made it so that you had to run the same quest over and over and over again to pray to the RNG gods that you got the gem that you needed, and then when you didn't get it, you hated yourself and did it again, and that was just the endless cycle. It was awful.
Yeah. See, games like that just don't sound fun to me.
No.
Like, I don't like grinding for loot in video games.
No. Rise is completely different.
Okay.
You'd be able to make a very, very strong build out of what the game is giving you that you can make, without needing like a really good talisman or anything like that. Like that's just kind of like the cherry on top.
I think I may try to pick it up either sometime if it's ever on sale or there's like a big lull in games at some point during the year. I may pick it up and give it a shot. Mostly because I wanna put some time into it for Game of the Year discussion. I hear a lot of people saying. I've heard someone today say like, yeah, it's my current Game of the Year.
Yep, I agree.
Wow.
So
But that person probably hasn't played Loop Hero, and it is currently only 3 months into the year. So
yeah. So
Lot to happen.
And think about it this way. At this
It's
point
a
last
game.
year, we were sitting on Final Fantasy VII, we were almost there,
Yeah.
right? So like we already, and wasn't there one more that came out like earlier than? I mean, Ori. We had Ori by this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
we already
that's
had
right, yeah.
bangers at
we
this
had
time
two of our
last
top
year,
twos.
so-
So yeah. I probably will play it before the end of the year.
Okay.
But speaking of Game of the Year, Andrew, you brought it up. Let's all give our Loop Hero update for
Jeff,
the week.
before we get to that, I want to really quick point out the best April Fool's joke that I've seen, and it is from none other than Young Horses, and they released a trailer, like a short 30-second video earlier today, just called Snacks, and it's a video of Bug Snacks, but they're just food. It just says
Oh,
burger and strawberry, and the song is playing in the background, and they edit out the bugs, so they're just like talking about snacks,
Okay, that's pretty good.
and it's amazing. And I'm wearing my Bug Snack shirt, so I thought it was very fitting.
Look at that. All right, let's give our Loop Hero updates for the week. Who wants to go first? Adam, you're new to Loop Hero. You downloaded it
New to
during
Loop
last week's
Hero.
podcast. How much did you play it, and how much do you like it?
I do like it a lot. I did not. Honestly, I was skeptical about the whole "you're not actually pressing any buttons" kind of deal, but damn if it's not entertaining.
Yeah,
Like-
it's pretty good. Jose, have
Like
you
what?
touched Loop Hero at all?
I have not,
Okay.
but I've heard so many good things about Loop
You
Hero
should
that
play it, dude.
It's gonna be one of the stream games soon.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I'm giving all of my
Like-
attention to Monster Hunter Rise right now.
That's understandable.
I am not too far in, but from what I have played, I have been enjoying it. Like I don't have any new characters yet. I've done a few loops, a few runs, expeditions that they called, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a few. Like I'm
Loops.
loops, expeditions, whatever. You get the point.
Always
So-
be expeditioning. Come on, doesn't work.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not wrong.
there it doesn't quite roll off. the
One
tongue.
journey is an expedition, and then like a loop is a loop. So Adam is not wrong.
Technicality, baby.
Derek.
Yeah, it's
oh,
fun.
sorry. Yeah,
It's fun.
yeah, it's really good. Derek, what's your update?
I have been doing pretty good. I got to the third boss again, but I decided not to face it because I had like 100 resources, like
Jeez.
full resources. So I was like, I cannot lose. I can't lose all this stuff, which in hindsight, I probably could have done it because I forgot that I had the I was using the Ancestral Crypt, which gives you an
res.
automatic res, and I also have another res. So
you had 3 res or 2
I had
reses.
2 reses, and I don't. Yeah, I think I only had 2 reses that run. But so I don't know. Maybe I could have beaten him. Maybe I couldn't. Like I had a pretty great build with the Necromancer and was just destroying shit. But I couldn't take the risk. And now I haven't been able to like replicate that run. So
Should have
it's
gone
like,
for it.
yeah, maybe I should have gone for it. I don't know. So yeah, at this point I'm basically like trying to experiment with different deck compositions to like try and build the most efficient loop thing. Like I've seen some interesting things that people like do online, and like I've been trying to do like just as small a deck as possible, like 7 cards.
So it's
a
super
couple times.
focused.
Yeah, just like focus on like literally having like just one for basically only one from each category, and then like maybe whatever ones you need to have a couple more than one, you have a couple more, but like really focusing on just small things and hoping that like does it quick enough. I got the I don't know if you've got the Maze of Memories card yet.
I have. I don't know what it does.
So it just fills up a random amount of the screen, but from what I've read, its application is it basically can help you face the boss earlier, but it seems helpful if it seems like it would have been more helpful if I got it earlier, but the third boss takes so long to build up to that it doesn't seem useful. Like getting me to that boss earlier won't matter because I'm still gonna be at like loop 9 or 10 when I like trigger the boss, as opposed to like because I think eventually I think maybe after you beat the third boss, there's like certain materials you have to grind for, and you get them by defeating the earlier bosses.
Mhm.
So I think that might become like where it comes into more play. It comes into play more. So yeah, at this point I'm like, I don't know what I should be doing. If I should be grinding more to like upgrade my buildings and get everything going, or if I should be like trying to focus on beating the third boss.
Yeah, I find that
So-
a difficult thing to decide. Like, okay, should I be looking to beat bosses or should I just be grinding for materials?
Yeah,
I run into that too.
and it's because that's with the third boss. That's the toughest part. Is you have to commit so much time to get to the third boss that it's like you have so many resources. It's just like I guess you got to like feel it, like you got to like a roguelike. You got to feel out the run. Like if you get the perk that lets you store 10% of your findings early on, like maybe it's like, okay, I'm gonna face the boss because I'm like storing my stuff. But if you don't get that perk until like later in the game, till you're like 1 or 2 loops from completion, it's like, okay, well now I have tons of resources. I guess I gotta go. I don't know. It's perplexing, but
It's a
it's a
much,
fun game.
much deeper game than it is on the surface. Like the more you do and the further you go in it, the more there is to it. And that's
it just
like
gets deeper and deeper.
every time I find myself being like, oh, I think I might be getting burnt out. I might be getting bored of this game. I unlock like 1 to 3 new cards or abilities or build something new in my town, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, whoa, how did I, like, I'm doing things entirely differently. Like, was it you telling me you got the Smithy gold card where it lets you have an additional equipment, but the rarity of the equipment is a little less? Did you know that the additional equipment you get for the rogue is the magic amulet, which gives you the magic defense?
Right, yeah.
It makes the rogue so good. It changes the game entirely. Or the forest, where it like every forest you have placed increases your attack speed. That changes the game significant. So yeah, it's so fun to mix and match combos and unlock something new and see how that changes everything. So far I've beaten the first boss with all 3 characters. I've beaten the second boss with the Necromancer, and I'm trying to beat the second boss with the other 2 before I even go on to the 3rd level.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I maybe should go back and do, because I only did it with the Necromancer. Maybe I should go back and do it with the warrior and the rogue.
So yeah, I don't know. I've been really enjoying it. What about you, Andrew?
I haven't really played it too much. I'll basically just throw it on if I am doing other things on the computer. I've been trying to devote some more time to games that I want to definitively finish. I feel like Loop Hero is a game I could be playing all year. Like it
Right,
will
exactly.
take me all year to beat it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, layering my time spent with it. I'm not quite as addicted to it, and I have at least currently, but I have other things that I want to try and focus on right now, like finishing Assassin's Creed, or maybe going back to Persona 5 Strikers, which I haven't played in a couple of weeks. So, but I'm still every run I play, I adore that game. So I'm really looking forward to doing more. And like just hearing you guys talk about like the next steps for me, like I haven't beaten the second chapter yet, so I'm really wondering what the hell chapter 3 is going to be about, and like all of these extra things. It's just such an engrossing experience.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I've been enjoying playing it a ton. I have it going like in the background a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think there's a new game that just came out that we've all played. First off, actually, Outriders came out today. Has anyone played any Outriders yet?
Oh, me.
You
Oh,
did?
you played.
The one person.
All right, talk about
You
it.
played the beta, didn't you?
I did play the demo. Yeah, I have only played, I think, into the game up until like the point where the demo ends. So it's not that much different from the demo so far. But it I think it's the game, now that it's a finished game, is running a little bit better. So it feels a little bit better to play. I don't know if they like. I think in the demo they kind of like speeded it up a little. I believe it. Yeah, they like made it get a little harder quicker so that you could like see how hard the game kind of could get. So I find that I'm not dying as often as I did in the demo, because like the game is scaling, like because now I have 30 hours of content to potentially play over instead of just 2 hours. So I definitely like, the game feels a little bit easier, but I also know how the game works now. So it's like, oh yeah, this is how the abilities work. Like I played the same class that I chose in the demo, the Pyromancer. So I already know how it works. So I'm excited to dive in. I've heard some good things about the end game, which like has been one of those things I don't think they've talked about it too much, because they want to like, you want to discover the end game on your own. But I've heard it's very Diablo like, which is exciting because Diablo has a very good like replayable end game. And I was like man, I hope I like this game, because I would kind of like to try every class, because like the classes all sound really cool and unique, and I was having trouble picking one. So I hope, because that was one of the things with Borderlands, was like once you played the game once, it was really, really difficult to go back and try and play it again with a different character. But I feel like maybe with this game it might be a little easier if like the gameplay really changes up that much. Same thing with Destiny. Like the core gameplay was about shooting, not about your abilities, whereas this game is all about your abilities, and the shooting is just an extra thing you do from time to time. So yeah, I'm excited to play a little more of it. Yeah.
I have downloaded
It's on Game
it.
Pass, so
Yeah.
it's free.
I've downloaded it onto my
like-
Xbox. Are you playing it on your Xbox?
Yeah, I'm playing on my. Yeah, why would I spend money when I could get it for free?
That was my thought. All right, then we'll have to play together over the next week, and then we can talk about it more.
Yeah, definitely.
The following week. Okay, sweet. I think I've definitely seen Andrew playing this. Derek, I don't think you might have played it. It Takes Two.
Oh, I haven't played it yet.
You haven't played it yet? Okay.
I haven't played it yet.
Andrew, who are you playing it with?
My roommate Jordan, who I may or may not have made a guest appearance earlier this episode.
Yeah, he was hanging out. Okay. I've been playing with Allison,
Right.
who is
Naturally.
her video games include Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, and sometimes Mario Kart, and she's just getting pretty decent at drifting. So I'm sure we're having two very different experiences, but I want to hear you talk about it first. And I have to go do something real quick. You can talk about it. I'll be right back. I'm still listening.
Okay, sure. So It Takes Two is definitely a time. It's I have a lot of trouble trying to describe this game because it's like there's so much in it. Like this game is a little bit of everything, but I don't know who this game is for. You know, like this. It's a really fun co-op experience and one of the most unique co-op experiences at that. In that, if you play as one of the two different characters, each one has their own unique roles in every scenario. So like as you move from chapter to chapter, they'll fit each character with a gimmick in that one particular chapter. For example, we just did one where the wife has an ability to leave a clone of herself that she can teleport back to, and the husband can slow down or reverse time on certain objects.
Their names are May and Cody.
Yes. But and so like the play experiences for the two characters are totally different depending on who you play as, which is really cool. So the co-op is great, but holy shit, the narrative doesn't make any sense, and I hate the characters. like it's Jeff. I don't know how far. Jeff, how far are you in the game?
So Allison and I beat the first boss, and then we were like halfway through the level where you're using the hammer and the nail, I think.
Okay, yeah. So
Which
you're
is
still
so fun.
pretty early on.
We're early on. It's very slow
Yeah.
with her. She's very bad at the platforming. It takes her. I'll get through it in one or two tries, and I'm just standing there for like a couple minutes waiting for her to do like the most simple
that
double
happens
jump
to
into
me
dash.
with Jordan too. So
But I was surprised because I didn't think she was gonna stick to it, but she's getting better at it slowly. And I was like, we beat the first boss. I was like, okay, this is a good stopping point. Do you wanna stop and take a break? She's like, no, I think I wanna keep going. I'm enjoying it. Which I was like, all right, sweet. But anyways, you can continue.
But yeah, it's like I honestly can't even imagine playing this game with your significant other, because it would just like playing it with my roommate makes us uncomfortable. Like these are just awful characters. The whole point of the game, right, is that they're a couple getting divorced. They've already decided to get divorced. You can tell that they should get divorced based on their interactions with each other. And then when you're playing the game, their daughter is like sad that her parents are getting divorced, as you would be. And so she like cries on these dolls, and her parents get transported their consciousnesses into the dolls, and then they're going through this like magical adventure to quote unquote fix their relationship. But they should just get divorced. They're awful to each other. They like all of the steps that they're taking in the narrative to fix their relationship are things that they should have just talked about from the beginning, or like at least seen a therapist or something. Like it seems like very basic communication that they're just not having.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the thing is they acknowledge the game starts with them being like, yeah, we're getting divorced, we hate each other, we're bad at this, we are a bad couple. So like I don't think you can take away from it like, yeah, that's already been decided, and that's the point of the game is these two people who don't get along, they hate each other, trying to work together to be, like accomplish a goal.
But as you progress more in the story, it becomes just so like the way that they act about it is like, I feel like their relationship is just so irredeemable. Like they're awful to their daughter, they're awful to each other.
I think that's the point. That's the point of it all.
I've heard the story is the worst part of the game.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying the story is fun or like necessarily good.
I mean,
but it makes sense.
Like, that's probably the point, is that they are these dog shit people, and like maybe they'll redeem each other in the end. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. The steps that they've taken so far from where I am does not feel earned. Is basically where I'm getting.
Gotcha.
And we can't not talk about Dr. Hakim, the fucking magic book of truth or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like the most overdone Spanish European stereotype of all time.
I'm pretty sure Joseph Ferris said, like, yeah, he is that way. He is the stereotype. Like, the stereotype is there for is like, this is what we wanted it. We wanted it to be the stereotype. So he's fucking annoying and in your face about it.
And that and that is, at the very least, like the characters in the game too are very aware and annoyed by this character. But the stereotype is just tired and overdone. But every time he's on screen, I'm like, it's just fun because something wacky is going down, and just like the way that he's animated, the way that he talks, the way that he interacts with Cody and May, is pretty fucking hilarious.
I've been really enjoying it with Allison. Like I said, we're not too far in, but it's the most fun I've had in a co-op game since Portal 2. Portal 2, I think, is the greatest two-player co-op of all time, and this is up there. And I want to see how it plays out to see if it gets better, or is like.
I mean, it's a great co-op experience, but outside of the gameplay, everything about it just makes me uncomfortable. However,
and again, I think that's the point.
Maybe, but we'll see. However, I did suplex a squirrel, so
best game of the year.
10 out of 10.
Game of the year.
At the very least, best moment. Like, fucking squirrel, dude.
Is there anything else you want to say about It Takes Two?
No, not really. I think I basically covered it.
All right, yeah. I'll give more updates as I play more of it with Allison. We're slowly going to chip away at it, I'm sure, over a couple months.
I think I should have it finished by next week.
Cool.
Based on our progress.
Nice.
Andrew, Derek, T-Con, and I, we finally beat Left 4 Dead, all of the Left 4 Dead campaigns.
Yeah.
Nice.
We did it. It was very fun.
Except for the last one, right, Jeff?
That last level was rough.
Yeah, you were getting very impatient.
I was getting
Towards
super
the end.
impatient at the end.
You were like,
You
just
also-
end it, just end it. I want
You
out.
also disconnected like 2 times.
Yeah, my
it's
client was being a piece of shit. It would disconnect me for no reason, and then like my character model would be standing still, and you're like, "We need to go here," and I'm like, "I can't move." And I was getting really annoyed at the level and my client, so I was just like, "Okay, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
One person get to the end, so we
Just
can be fucking done."
Finish this fucking game.
And there's the one section where we stayed in the river for way too long and everybody died.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and finish the level by myself. And I ran ahead, and then
We all died.
a tunnel. No, there was a tunnel, and just like 50 zombies came out of there, and I was like,
Run
shit.
right at you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, that was fun. Next, we're gonna do the Halo campaigns, and then after that, we'll do Final Fantasy 14. I promise, Willis. But other than that, Adam, what have you been playing? Or actually, we'll go back to Jose. Jose, is there anything you've been playing besides Monster Hunter, or is that kind of consuming everything right now?
I mean, yes and no. Like Monster Hunter has been kind of like my only focus for a good while, but oh man, what was the other game I was playing? I can't think of anything other than Monster Hunter at the moment.
That's okay.
What was that? You
Amori.
played that other- yeah,
Amori.
Amori.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. So it's this really depressing psychological horror RPG.
Okay.
Long story short, like this kid goes through some traumatic events and he hides in like a made up world in his dreams, and you're kind of just playing through the game from a point where you're kind of like super disoriented and you're piecing everything together in your head as you go, in terms of like what happened to you that got you to this point. And like the characters are really charming and also really depressing, and the story itself is very adult themed, and anybody that is sensitive to that, themes of like suicide and self-harm and any of that stuff probably should not play it. But the story's good. It's very immersive. Once you get in it, you just kind of want to keep going and like uncover the mystery of what happened. And once you get to the revelation, to the reveal, oh my god, it is one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen
Oh man.
in a video game. Yeah, it's bad.
How long is it?
It took me, I think, 18 hours to go through it.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not too bad. Yeah, I played like 6 or 7 hour sessions on stream, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. It was great. Like the leveling doesn't feel like a chore. It just happens organically, and like the game itself is very funny, and a bunch of random stuff happens while you play it. So yeah, I mean it's worth playing if you can tolerate the serious themes that the game throws at you. Other than that, I've been playing Risk of Rain 2.
Oh, cool.
They had
That's the game I think that we should all play.
It's a very fun game. They had their anniversary update, I think, last week, and they like redid the entire final boss area. They didn't redo the boss fight itself, but how to get to the boss and then escape the area is completely new. They added a new character, which is insanely broken. They added some new items, which make the game really fun. Overall, it was a pretty good update, and I put a lot of hours into Risk of Rain 2. It's a very fun game, even more so with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
one
was
I've
wanting
wanted
to
to
get
check
into
out.
Yeah, it's been on my radar for a while.
Mhm.
After Final Fantasy 14.
There's a list now. There's a hierarchy.
All right, cool. Anything else?
Let me see what else is in my Steam directory.
When in doubt.
There
I
seems
played.
to be someone in chat that is from your streams named Flame Shadow.
Flamey, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you have the
she's
stream
always
open.
there for my for all of my. She's one of my mods.
She said Omori is very good and very sad.
Yes, it is very, very sad.
Omori apparently came out at the end of last year.
Yes, yeah, it's a relatively new game, and it was. Again, I highly recommend it. I also played Doom Eternal for the first time.
There you go.
Nice.
That game was ridiculously hard. Like
That too.
I played it on Ultraviolence, I think, thinking like, oh yeah, I played the other Doom in like really high difficulty. I think I'll handle this.
I'm good
And-
at video games.
Yeah,
right?
my aim's good. No, the movement in that game is really crazy. Like being able to dash around the entire arena and the weapons interact in different ways than I thought they would from the first game, considering that the first game just played completely differently, Doom 2016.
Hmm.
Doom Eternal was fun. And then we did Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic from start to finish.
Wow, you already beat it?
Yep.
Great. So
Both
you're not allowed
endings.
to talk about it because
I
you're
know,
going to
I
be
know.
on the episode.
Right?
Yeah, you should totally come on that episode and talk about it.
Absolutely. It's
And-
one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Okay, good praise.
I need to fucking put my nose to the grindstone and get playing it. Anytime that I have an opportunity, it's just like I'm only able to play for like an hour. So I'm chipping
I
away
getcha.
super slowly.
You know, it's super fun. Like it was really nostalgic because I loaded it up and you know the BioWare logo came up and it just threw me back.
From a better age.
Yeah, from a better age. Yeah.
A weapon for a more civilized age.
It threw me back to like back when I used to live in Puerto Rico. I think it was like 2006 or 7 when I played it for the first time and I got like really immersed, really into it. The characters have a lot of story if you're willing to put in the time to talk to them as you go through the game. And I know time is like a very big commitment because you know you've got a lot of stuff on your plate, but when you get the chance, definitely play it. It's very much worth it.
Yeah.
Well, we're all technically currently playing it.
Yeah,
Right?
technically.
Yeah.
We're
when
playing it.
Finish it, damn it.
I finished it.
when
I'm pretty close to being done.
when
Yeah.
I finish Bravely Default 2. So okay, I got a brand new kitten this past week. So before
Oh.
that happened, I was like, I'm gonna put a lot of time into KOTOR. But the way it works is we have the new kitten locked in our bedroom, and we have our current cat freely roaming the rest of the house. And we don't want to introduce them too quickly. So I was like, great, Allison can hang out with the new cat in the bedroom, and I will hang out in the living room and play KOTOR. It's perfect. Allison is extremely allergic to this new cat. So she can't stay in there for long periods of time.
Which is weird because every video Allison has sent me of the cat has been on her face.
Yeah, that cat, like, that cat's favorite place to be is here. And she's so fucking adorable. Her name is Morgana. We call her Mona for short. Yes,
Mona!
that is a Persona 5 thing. I love it. But so like I'm stuck in that room and I don't have a TV in my room, so can't hook up my Xbox. So I've just been playing Bravely Default 2. But we've been slowly introducing them. We got the kitten on Friday. And then yesterday, for the first time ever, we let Mona out of the room, and like they're interacting. And Marcy's mostly like whatever. She mostly just want to smell the new cat, but then the new cat is like get away from me. And then Marcy chases the new cat because she just wants to smell her. And then she hisses at the new cat because she's like, "Bitch, just let me smell you." And the new cat's like, "No, get away from me." So it just causes problems, but we're making progress.
I remember the first time. My cat and my girlfriend's cat were introduced. It took a month for them to finally get okay being near each other.
Yeah, we're expecting it to be a while, but we're making much better progress than we thought. It's less than a week, and they've already like been in the same room before.
That's good.
So yeah.
Dante got smacked and scratched anytime he was anywhere near Kiki. Like, if they were in the same room, Kiki would fight to get out of that room and want nothing to do with him.
When I briefly lived at my parents' house for a little bit back in like 2019, I had my cat with me. So originally she just stayed in my room, but over time, as she got more used to things, she slowly crept her domain into like more and more of the house. But the thing is that my mom's cats are bitches. So like eventually she took over the house essentially. So my other two cats wouldn't go anywhere near her, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, so that's my excuse as to why I haven't been playing KOTOR. But
you get a pass. Everybody else doesn't.
I will put my nose down to the grindstone. I will have it beat by the end of the month, I promise. Because I want to get really into it. The stuff I have played, I've really liked. Alright, cool. Adam, what have you been playing?
The usual. Playing some KOTOR. Got some League in there. The only big thing that had happened this week is I was playing the new expansion for Hearthstone, because they just dropped their new year.
Nice. How's that?
So far so good. They revamped their rewards track from last time. So they switched it from how it originally was, where you get gold for daily quests and you get experience. So there's a whole track now, like a lot of games are doing nowadays. But they completely revamped it from the last expansion, where there's double the amount of tiers now. Like there was 50 last time, it was 100. And they're also getting between each level a lot quicker. Like, expansion's been out for, 3 days now, and I'm already at level 30.
Wow.
So that was just off of some weekly quests and such. So,
not bad.
Yeah, so just playing through the new cards, trying out some new decks, waiting for the meta to reestablish itself.
Right on.
So, nothing too crazy. So far, it's fun.
Cool. Is that about it? And Loop Hero?
Yeah. That and Loop Hero. We already talked about that.
I dig it.
More Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That is a fun game.
It is a very good game. I'm glad that you're finally getting a chance to play it.
Yeah, I am in that. I got 2 of the Wisps. I got the one in the hollow with all the spiders, and I got the one on top of Bowers Reach.
Nice.
So you met the bear, Bauer.
Bauer's awesome.
Bauer is awesome.
Yeah, then I went to go do the desert location, and I finally get there. It's like, oh, you need the other 3 before you can get in here. And like, god damn it.
I did that same thing, and I was like, oh, shit. All right.
I mean, the perk is I got the burrow ability, so now if I run in the dirt, I can just... Like, honestly, it's totally worth it just getting that extra mobility ability.
Yeah.
Dude, every ability you get in Ori Will of the Wisps, is so much fun to use. And chaining them together is the most fun.
Like the light aura in the Glimwood. Like, that was a cool ability.
Yes.
I still think you guys are fool for not voting for it for best feeling game last year.
Honestly, there's some...
Dude,
That game has some
Spider-Man is
emotional
something special,
ups
though.
and downs
Yeah.
in that game,
I
man.
don't know. Ori felt so good.
Like, Ori's giving
Ori
me the
did feel
feels.
great.
Ori gives
They're
me
like
feels.
they were very close, Jeff.
All right, cool.
It's such a good game. It's so much better than the first one, and the first one was amazing.
For me, just more time in Bravely Default 2. I think I only have 3 jobs left before I have them all. Well, there's like a 4th secret one where you have to go beat the game and then go back in. I don't plan on doing that. So for me, there's 3 jobs left, which means I should be getting relatively close to the end of the game. I think traditionally in the first 2 Bravely Default games, you would get the last job, and then there's like a full chapter after that. So I think that's where I'm at. So I'm getting there, but
Nice.
that's about it. Smash with Andrew
I'm
every day.
Not getting there.
Yeah, are you kind of like weaning off, or are you never gonna play it?
No, I'm playing it here and there. I played a pretty good chunk last night.
Okay.
And it's just so you talking about it last week and how you like finally found like a great synergy, like was like, all right, I gotta play so I can find that that satisfying gameplay loop, the jobs that fit how I want to play, right? So I'm like, all right, I should just play. So that's kind of I think my nighttime game, when it's late and I don't feel like going to bed yet, I'll play it on the Switch for like an hour or two, and instead of going down and like starting to play something else. So
Right on.
I definitely will start playing it a little bit more.
Sweet. What else have you been playing, Derek?
I have also been playing a little bit more of Persona.
Okay, slowly chipping. You have so many games that you slowly chip away at. We have totally different like gaming play styles where like I'd like to try to hard focus one game at a time, and you like are chipping away at so many different things.
So
I could never. Oh, so sorry. I could never like chip away at like 5 or 6 different games at once. I have to like laser focus on one and get it done, and then move to the next. Because just thinking about like having to do something else in the other game, it gives me anxiety while playing the other game.
Right? That's part of
it's
why
awful.
it took me so long to even start KOTOR, because I was on like the Persona 5 Royal train, and I was like, I'm not touching anything else until I beat this, and that took a really long time. Anyways,
my thing, and there's 3 games that I'm currently, you could say, chipping away at right now, and there's a theme between all 3 of them.
JRPGs.
They're all JRPGs.
what's the third one?
I also started playing Final Fantasy VII again.
The original?
The original.
Let's go. What a game.
Why did you restart it?
I didn't restart it. I just continued on because
Oh.
last year before Remake, I only played up until after Midgar. So I like booted up my PlayStation the other day and I like scrolled over to Persona and then I was like, Final Fantasy VII, and I like went over and I hit that and then I played that for like 2 hours.
How you feeling about that?
So
Wait.
after playing all 3 of these JRPGs in continuous, I don't like JRPGs.
Did you before?
Also really like JRPGs. I don't know. What I don't like, and it is that I cannot save whenever I want.
That too.
Dude, if you're playing on your PlayStation, just suspend.
I know, and that's what I did with Final Fantasy VII, because I was like in the middle of a part I couldn't save, so I like just like fuck it, I guess I gotta like suspend or whatever. But I don't like that, like in Persona, I was like playing it and I got to the part where you get the calling card for the first time, and I was like, perfect. I'm leaving the palace. And like I can save, like I'll go back to the my room, I'll save, but then the game just kept going.
Yeah.
And wait, no, I want to save. Let me go back and save, and then it wouldn't go back. So eventually, I found a spot where I could save, and I was like, but literally, like I had to play for another like 45 minutes before I could save, and it's just like I let me save whenever I want. KOTOR, I can save in the middle of a battle if I want to.
Yeah, that is nice. I'll give it that.
Just let me let me exit the game whenever I need. I understand like why games do this because it's like it's like well, if you can save before every decision and every whatever, like it's dumb.
The
Like
Skyrim quick save. Like, what would happen if I
right.
killed this guy? Let me quick save real first. Kill him. Oh, I didn't like that result. Go back. Yeah.
Right. Like it has its place. It's
No
just the
consequence.
frustrating, like, oh, you're not in a safe place in this dungeon, so you can't save before this guy. Like, I'm okay with the penalty of having to go back to my previous save if I die, kind of thing. It's although like, but if I need to stop playing, I can't stop playing. That bothers me.
Yeah.
But I will finish all 3 of these JRPGs soon.
In the year 2077.
Yeah. I will
He's-
finish them.
He's gonna get to the end of the month. He's gonna be twitching from too much JRPG.
And then another JRPG will come out, and I'll have to play it.
So
Persona 7.
if you need any help with any of them, I'm fairly fluent in all of them at this point, so I can help you with any of them.
At this point, it's like
2 of those are Jeff's 2 favorite video games of all time.
It's
right,
true.
yeah.
And I can help you get KOTOR, so
There you go.
I just choose whatever JRPG I want to play that day, and I play it.
Play it for a couple hours.
Yeah. So besides those, I don't think I just play Destiny, and I finally like got back into this season, and it's been really good. They're doing a lot of good things. I'm happy with it, so I'm satisfied that I bought the expansion or whatever with all the season passes.
Cool.
So I'll keep playing it from time to time. Maybe T-Con and I will eventually play one day.
I love how you look to the sky like, oh, maybe one day T-Con.
One day.
Like he's
T-Con.
dead. All right, Andrew. I know
Yeah.
there's one big thing that you started playing over. I think yesterday it came out.
That's correct.
Tell me about it.
So Assassin's Creed 3.
What?
oh boy.
No, so the new Binding of Isaac update, the final Binding of Isaac update, just dropped yesterday. The Binding of Isaac Repentance, and oh my God, it's so amazing. Binding of Isaac was already the best roguelike, and now they doubled the amount of content in the game. And so
Hades.
okay, here's the thing, Jeff. Hades is a better
Hades.
video game, but Binding of Isaac is a better roguelike.
It may have been the first good roguelike.
No,
Or an
it's
early
still
good
the best
roguelike.
roguelike.
Yeah, Andrew, weren't you telling me the
Hades.
like the update page on Steam like was not long enough for all
Yeah.
the updates?
Edmund McMillan had to make a separate blog post because there were 6 pages worth of updates. You remember the
Holy
amount?
shit.
You remember the amount of bug fixes that we just talked about in Cyberpunk? It's
Oh my
like
God.
twice that, but this is all new stuff. On top of balance changes and just like quality of life updates that make the game, even if you don't experience any of the new content, it refreshes the game for long-standing players. And it adds a real co-op mode, which didn't exist previously. Because before, what would happen is you would kind of play as this like movable turret where you can't really interact or play the game, but you shoot tiers to help. But this time you can play with up to 4 actual characters and play cooperatively. And Adam, Jose, and I all played together using Steam Remote Play, which only one person needs to own the game to do. And from what we've experienced, there's no latency or anything. It was a pretty seamless transition.
It works surprisingly well. Like I did not expect it to work as well as it does.
Yeah, it was
And,
pretty responsive.
I played a Salt and Sanctuary over the Steam Play with my friend Dwayne the other day, and yeah, it works surprisingly well.
Yeah.
And it is really neat that you don't all need to own the game. It's like couch co-op for the future.
Yeah, I
a
expect
fan.
myself to be addicted to Binding of Isaac again for the rest of the year.
Solid. Cool stuff. Anything else?
No.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I think we're at a good point where we can take a quick break. I want to refill my water, go check on my beef jerky.
I have to unfill my bladder.
Again.
Seconded.
All right, cool. So yeah, we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about our favorite Easter eggs in video games. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, we have returned, and we are going to talk about Easter eggs in video games. Easter is this weekend, Zombie Jesus Day, as it's better known among the people. And I thought it was really fun. It'll be a fun conversation just to talk about Easter eggs in video games. They've been around forever, and everyone loves finding a good Easter egg, or like when Easter eggs are discovered. So, a couple things I want to talk about. First, I want to define what I think an Easter egg is. You guys can add to that. Like, tell me what you think Easter eggs are in games. Second, I want to talk about like what some of our favorite Easter eggs are, and then third, like I feel like Easter eggs aren't really as big of a thing as they used to be, and why is that a thing? So first off, Easter egg, what is it? For me, an Easter egg has always been like something in a game that references something outside of the world of the game, or so. For example, say you're playing Mario 64. I wouldn't consider Yoshi at the top of the castle in Mario 64 as an Easter egg because he's Yoshi. He's part of the Mario world. Like that makes sense, that he's there.
It's more of like a hidden unlockable.
Yeah. So whereas an Easter egg is something like in an Ocarina of Time when you're in the Temple of Time. Derek, you're vibrating there. You good, Derek?
I think he's good now.
Okay. When you're in not the Temple of Time, when you're in Hyrule Castle, and you you look through the window in that place where Zelda is, you can see portraits of Mario and Bowser and Peach. Those are Easter eggs because it's referencing an entire different game, world, universe, real life thing within that game. That's what an Easter egg is to me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, because I know a lot of people who do consider the Yoshi on top of the castle in Mario 64 as an Easter egg, whereas I personally don't.
I would define it as something explicitly hidden by the developers that is a nod or a reference to either themselves or like you said, Jeff, something outside of the game itself. Like I believe the first video game Easter eggs were because in whatever console it was on, there wasn't enough memory or there just wasn't credits in the game, right? So an Easter egg, the original Easter eggs was a way for the developers to put their own credits in the game. So in a way, I like that Easter eggs over the years have kept that tradition of referencing the developers themselves instead of necessarily other video games, but seeing other video games referenced is still really cool too.
Yeah. Derek, you are muted.
Oh, I thought I was unmuted. All right. Would you consider the developers, the Game Freak developers in Pokemon Red and like that in the Eevee building? You know how if you go to a certain floor, it's like, oh, I made the game, or
you're in the the Game Freak headquarters in a Game Freak game. Yeah, I consider that an Easter egg.
Yeah. So I would at least consider the Super Mario 64 Yoshi thing an Easter egg. I always thought of Easter eggs as kind of just like hidden things that you kind of have to like go out of your way to find that aren't like game like collectibles for the game or whatever, but just like things that are there.
Well,
like
I guess just to stay on the Yoshi's one for a second. What the game prompts you to go to the roof of the castle, right?
Does it?
That's my question. If it prompts you to do it, I wouldn't consider it an Easter egg.
I don't think it
doesn't prompt you, then I would.
Okay.
Because that's something.
It's not prompt, yeah.
Otherwise, yeah. Because if it's telling you to do it, then it's not an Easter egg, because the point of an Easter egg is that it is otherwise unexplained.
Right.
Okay. I think you've convinced me. If it's something that's hidden that you have to go out of your way to find and you can play through the entire game without ever running into it. Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like, what is the point of an Easter egg in real life? It is something hidden that you are, like, you may or may not find.
Yeah, and like sometimes they're even so subtle you won't even notice it. Like in the original Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, if you go up to Snow Point City on your birthday, if you have it set in the system and it's that day on the system's clock, the snow is sparkly.
Yeah, that's an Easter
Like
egg.
it can be like something really, really small
Yeah.
that's like, hey, like I'm kind of with Derek here. It's like a little nod to, cool, you found this. Now get back to the game.
Okay,
Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't have a direct impact on the game.
you guys
And
have
I have
won
a-
me over.
And I have a theory on why we don't see them as much later. Like I already have a thought on that.
All right, well, let's just get that out of the way now, because I think the more fun conversation is actually talking
Yeah.
about some of
Easter
our
eggs.
favorite Easter eggs. So let's
Yeah.
get the conversation out of the way of like, why don't we see very many Easter eggs anymore? I feel
The
like
internet.
Yeah. Oh, there's that, but
I think it's because of the internet.
I want to hear what Adam has to think first, and we can come back to the internet thing. We'll put a pinpoint
my
there.
my
We'll come back.
thought kind of was like we see more and more games going like the
internet.
way of like cooperative or like as a service thing. So like they've definitely gone from more of like the Easter eggs are more so just here's a skin, but like there's no secret way to unlock it anymore. It's like just give me money for it.
So like you're using like Fortnite as an example, where there aren't Easter eggs. There's just references that are in
there's
in
so
plain
much
sight, and it's
random
part of it.
there's so much random reference in everything now. Then like even if there's gonna be like this like even like back then, like an Easter egg could be like, oh, you did this random thing in game. Here's this secret unlock that no one knew was here that you get to play with now.
Hmm.
Like it's just like a random cosmetic or something that has no bearing on the game whatsoever. But nowadays we don't have that anymore. We just have, hey, look, we released this skin line. Give us money.
I think to go along too with Adam saying, a lot of times Easter eggs now that are found are like they're not Easter eggs. They're like hints at upcoming content. Like
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
That was the other thing I was
post-credit
going to
teasers.
say.
right.
Is
Yeah.
like the reason that a quote unquote or like the reason that your Ocarina of Time example, Jeff, wouldn't work as well today is because everybody like in the current culture would see that and consider like, are these worlds connected? Is this
Yeah.
canon? Quote unquote, you know, like is Mario gonna appear in a Zelda game? Does Mario exist in the Zelda universe? Stuff like that. And it's kind of like, and to retread on my internet point a little bit, it's like the amount that people share on the internet ruins the discovery and almost like the playground discussion aspect of Easter eggs. Like if something is hidden and one person finds it and posts it on the internet, then that thing is no longer hidden and it ruins the specialty of it.
I guess that's a good point. It's like, what percentage of people are actually going to see it in the game now, as opposed to just seeing it on an internet post?
Yeah,
Right.
it's
It
like if you
becomes
see it
less
on the internet
special.
and then replicate it, then it's less of an Easter egg and more of a scavenger hunt, I guess.
I wonder how much of that too coincides with the beginning of the Black Ops / Call of Duty Zombie.
That's the other
Easter
thing I
eggs,
was gonna say.
where they started as just like silly things that if you did the right things, this funny thing happened.
Yeah,
And
like
it
the
became,
original, like there was an original Derice Easter egg where it's
Yeah.
like you did a certain number of things and like you would unlock a gun, right?
It
And
was
it's like
the
a certain sequence
alien
of
gun.
events.
Right? The
The
alien
ray gun?
Yeah.
No, I think it was something else, or like something you interact with something in the map and it gives you like maybe an extra perk. But then once they got to like Black Ops 1, right? Then it started becoming like every Easter egg is this big sequence of quests and actions that reveal
Yeah.
the story of the game. And so the culture surrounding Black Ops Easter eggs specifically, I think has gotten way overbloated, and like that's the first thing anybody does in the zombies community when a new pack drops is there's like weeks of streamers and personalities trying to figure out steps to the Easter egg, and everyone, it's like a collaborative effort. But at that point I wouldn't really call it an Easter egg, it's just that's the term that's stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a
just story
hidden
progression at that
quest
point.
or something instead. Like it's not.
It's like a new Destiny raid or something, right? Like that's almost what I would equate it to.
Yeah, I think that's almost a better comparison. Is you need to figure out the mechanics. You need to figure out like, and I mean even like I played a little bit of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and like now it's like the game just has objectives.
Yeah,
You just
it
do
was
the
the same way in
objectives.
4 too.
Yeah, like there are some like Easter eggs in there. Like I think you do, like if you do something right, there's the scene where the zombies reenact the Kenyan funeral people or something like that. like that's okay, that's funny, but like other than that, it's like you're still like the game is now about doing these objectives that used to be just funny little things the developers put in to see if people could find them, but people
Yeah.
became so obsessed over them, they became literally now the core gameplay,
Yeah.
which is cool. I think
And I think
like
it's
that.
and I think
but-
that's a very special case though.
Yeah, but I think that's might be part of the way. Like no games now. I can't think of an Easter egg I've
In like the last
unco-
5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I know they're the most like the one I've heard the most about, and I think it was Arkham City.
Oh,
One of
yeah.
the Arkham games had an Easter egg that was never found.
That was just found
And-
like recently, right?
I don't know if anyone technically ever found it. I think they just like let it out.
Oh.
They like said this is the Easter egg.
Hmm.
Like no one ever found out where it was, what it was. Like because usually they are like Easter eggs are like developer rooms. Like it's like in
Exactly.
those games,
Like the Link to the Past one.
Yeah, like it's just like, hey, here's a cool little place you found. Yeah, we we can talk about fun Easter eggs in a second, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, like they're like still there, but I feel like it's in much minimal numbers now.
The spirit of
And-
it has been lost.
Yeah, and maybe it's because these AAA games and stuff, like maybe indie games are where we should be. I don't know what indie games maybe have Easter eggs, but
I
like,
think indie games are absolutely the way. I
Yeah.
think I don't see and the trouble with it is that today's culture blurs the lines so much. Like Shovel Knight has like a patron room. It's like a big castle full of the
Yeah, yeah.
likenesses of all of their backers from the Kickstarter campaign.
Right, or like Hollow Knight, where they have that special like graveyard where it's like all
Mhm.
the people who did the Kickstarter or whatever. Like that's kind of like the
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's less of an Easter egg and more of like a
Right.
dedication.
right.
It's not like that's hidden. Like the
Mm.
Shovel Knight castle, I think is a little more hidden. Or like you have to break a wall to go in.
Right. Yeah, but it's not the same.
I know.
All right. Before we talk about our favorite Easter eggs, Flame Shadow in chat has a question for us. What about Heart Gold and Soul Silver when you fight Red at the top of the mountain? Is that an Easter egg?
No.
I don't think so, because that's part of the game.
Exactly. Like it's
Like it's always mentioned, like, oh, you can go to Mount Silver and you find him at the top. It's not
Yeah.
like you have
Yeah,
to do
that's-
anything special to get there.
I think it's
it's a natural progression of that game's story.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Like,
the secret
it's-
hidden final boss.
Yes.
Less than so than Easter egg
Yeah.
than like
Like he's a reference to the first game, and it's really cool that it has that progression of the world. But
But technically,
seeing
the
as-
whole game is a reference to the first game because it's a direct sequel.
well, yes, but like it's the protagonist you played as in the first one, which is really
Yeah,
like
it's more
I'd
of
say
a. I'd say it's more of just a nod.
yeah, it's Easter egg adjacent at best. I think.
gotcha.
Like yeah, like you could definitely not know he was there. Like when Gold and Silver first came out, like you have to get all the way to the top of this mountain to find him there. It's like
Yeah, and this
it's
is
yeah.
and that's why I think the internet has ruined it because when you're a kid and you're on the playground and you're like, did you know if you go to the top of this mountain you fight fucking Red? But it's like then Heart Gold and Soul Silver, comes out and you read the reviews and then the comments say you fight Red, and it's not the same
Yeah.
at all.
It does kind of ruin it, but I see where you're going with that on Red. And, yeah, in spirit, I think it kind of is there because he's so far out of the way on top of this mountain that it's it is very I don't even know how to say it.
I mean,
Easter egg
to me-
adjacent.
To me, I think he kind of counts as an Easter egg, and it's mainly because he's so out of the way.
Hmm.
Like it's not
Yeah.
it's not like a character that you have to fight to finish the game. He's mentioned, but you kind of have to go explore and find where he is and then fight him there away from everybody else. It's not a main boss or anything like that. Just beating him doesn't progress the story.
Mm.
But
But-
the difference with this is I think that because he is a boss fight, because he's part of the main mechanic and gameplay of the game, like it's too ingrained within the game itself that it doesn't really count.
Yeah, like would you count Emerald
I
and
get
Ruby
you.
weapon in Final Fantasy VII as Easter eggs or just optional boss fights?
Optional
I
boss
think
fight.
it's the
right? Like,
I get you.
the fact that Red was part of the original game makes it, like Adam said, kind of Easter egg adjacent. It's a cool nod, but I think, yeah, as Andrew was saying, it's like he's an optional boss fight. Now, if it wasn't Red, like if you fought, I don't know, Mike Tyson on the top of
Yeah,
of
that'd be an Easter egg.
that's an Easter egg because it's referencing something entirely outside of the world of
Okay.
the Pokemon universe, you know. But because it's part of the Pokemon universe, I think it's just a
yeah,
really,
right.
it's
And,
just
like-
the greatest secret boss fight of all time.
And honestly, like especially with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like back to what Andrew said, like it's kind of hard for us to be objective about that one. When we started Heart Gold and Soul Silver, we knew from the beginning of the game that Red was up there. Like we already knew he was waiting
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you.
But
So-
I mean, okay, but so with this specific example, you have to disregard that Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the remakes and just
Fair
reference.
enough.
Yeah, if
Gold and
you're talking
Silver.
about it as Gold and Silver specifically,
Yeah.
Uh,
That's true.
yeah.
But,
I think that goes back to being like, yeah, outside of the game's universe is that makes it more so of an Easter egg than things that aren't, you know?
To me, it's not Easter eggs are more something that's like not so much interactable, but just there for you to find and realize if there's an Easter egg.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not part of the game mechanics usually.
Mhm.
Like Spider-Man being playable. Is it Spider-Man? Wolverine, Darth Maul being playable in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Those aren't Easter eggs. Those are secret unlockable characters because they're part of the game mechanics.
They're secrets.
Yeah.
Secrets
Yeah,
are
there's
different than
Secrets on
Easter
their
eggs?
own. Yeah.
Yeah, secrets
Yeah.
are different than Easter eggs.
That's a good way to
Alright.
put it.
All right.
And I don't want this to come off as we are like gatekeeping what an Easter egg can be interpreted as for some people.
Yeah, not at all.
This is just how we interpret it.
Exactly. All right, so now that we're all on the same page about that, let's talk about some of our favorite Easter eggs. How do we want to do this? Do you just want to shout out random ones and then talk about it?
Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got a fun one that I thought of.
Go for it.
It's like a double because I know of two instances where this is Robin Williams references in games. There is in Breath of the Wild, there is supposedly a villager named Robin somewhere who looks very much like him.
I've heard about that. Yeah, because
Like,
he
yeah.
was a huge Zelda fan. He named his daughter Zelda.
Yeah, his daughter's
Yeah.
named Zelda, and even in World of Warcraft, Robin Williams liked World of Warcraft. So in the game, there's a genie named Robin, which is thought to be a clever nod to him.
Yeah.
It's like the Aladdin
really
nod.
cool.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, so like I like it when like you hear stuff about this, everybody loved Robin Williams, and like here are these games honoring him that way by just including his likeness or a reference to him in these games that he loved.
Like Awada passed during the development of Breath of the Wild, and there is
And now he's a villager.
Yeah, he's
Like,
a
he just
villager.
wandered the map.
yeah.
Speaking of WoW, there was a period of time, probably like late 2000s, like 2007, 2008, where for some reason every game needed to have some kind of Lost reference.
Oh yeah, what was
And-
up with that?
I think it might have been I think it might have been Wrath of the Lich King, but it could have been Cataclysm. There was a hatch like randomly on an island, and it was like a reference to the hatch in Lost. And then in a like Just Cause 2, which was like one of those GTA clones, there's an island like way off on the map. And if you fly towards the island before you're like supposed to go there in the game, your plane crashes because there's a reason in game, but it's like this clever Lost reference as well. And then like there's a hatch on the island if you go find it. So like yeah, it's like there were like for some reason a lot of games had Lost Easter eggs because that was like the big thing at the time.
I'm personally am a huge fan of like the slight nod to protagonists of other video games in a video game. So an example of this is in Doom, the 2016 Doom. There is a corpse. It's like a rotting corpse with the Skyrim helmet, and it's got an arrow in its knee.
Yeah,
Which
that
is
was gonna be one of my
incredible.
examples.
There's in The Witcher 3, there's a dude that's dressed up like Altair, and his body is
Yeah.
just next to a
Yeah.
pile of hay, just dead. like he missed the leap of faith.
Is that ever? Is that a recurring thing?
I don't know.
Because I feel like I've heard more instances of that, of like Altair being dead in other games.
And then in Fallout 4,
I might be making that up.
I think it's Fallout 4. There's a nod. There's like a refrigerator you can find, and inside of it is basically Indiana Jones's hat, and basically making fun of Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where he survives a nuclear blast by being in a fridge. And they're just no, you can't.
I just need to point out real quick. We just talked about how no modern games have Easter eggs anymore, and Jeff just named 4 modern games that all have Easter eggs.
We did it.
Yeah, so we just proved ourselves wrong.
Awesome.
Time is a construct.
Time is a construct. Yeah, so I love those like super subtle ones where unless it can catch you in the corner of your eye and you're like, wait a second. And when you do see it, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, another fun one. I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago when I was talking about Kid Icarus. There's one level in the 3DS game where you're running through the sky and there are these enemies that look striking like Metroids, and Pit's like, haven't you ever noticed these things look like Metroids? And then the goddess who's like piloting his wings at that point is like, no, shush, stop talking. You can't reference that.
There's also an Easter egg. Was it Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze?
Yeah.
And this was discovered like a year or two ago. It was very recent, and that game's very old. But if like you swim in a certain pattern on a certain level, you see a Metroid float by in the background. So that's another.
Well, one of the levels also has Samus's gunship in the background of the level.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and see, that's like that thing that the point you just pointed out of it just being discovered. I feel like the best Easter eggs are the ones that are the hardest to find in today's culture, because as a result, it negatively affects developers putting Easter eggs in it, because like you said with the Arkham City one is like, if this Easter egg hasn't been found at this point, 10 plus years later, however many, like then what was the point of even including it in the first place if no one was ever going to find it? It's like if it like I feel like it's a disappointment compared to like earlier.
And it makes you think how many games are out there that have Easter eggs that just haven't been found, and the developers are like, maybe we'll tell them about it in 10 years.
Yeah. The zombies guy, Jason Blundell, he would always tell people like, oh yeah, there's a shit ton of stuff you guys haven't found, and it will drive people insane.
Yeah.
A great example of kind of the opposite thing, or what we were talking about earlier of minor Easter eggs that people blow out of proportion. In Destiny, in the original Destiny, in the second expansion, in the raid, there was this extra room that was like way off the beaten path. Like I don't even know how the people found it, but like that's what people do, that like we were talking about earlier, like people get excited about these like new content and they want to explore the shit out of it and they want to find every single thing. And so people were just like in the raid exploring, and they found this, I think it was dubbed like the basketball room, because there's like 2 basketball hoops or something like that in it. And people were like, what does this mean? Like there's like a secret weapon. And then like eventually like 2 weeks later, like one of the developers came out and said like, yeah, it was just a fun, like we just added it for fun. Like it's a little Easter egg or whatever. And like that definitely goes along the line of what we're saying. Like people just will like blow this crap out of proportion. And yeah, it's crazy.
I think the best example of something getting blown out of proportion, but like for the better, it has to be Portal and the whole Ratman thing in Portal 1.
I've heard about this.
So this is the origin of the cake is a lie stuff. So there's just like they're sprinkled throughout in like the back of rooms, and like you have to put very clever portal placement. It's not inherently a part of the game. It's like off in the side in hidden corners. It's like you see this journey of this escaped, and he's called Ratman because he was like a lab rat, and he was going through the courses, and he basically, like, you see his descent into madness and all this scribbling on the walls, and like his obsession with the companion cube and the cake is a lie thing. Like that wasn't a thing. That was just like a joke tucked away in the corner of this game that people discovered and latched onto so hard, and that became it became the entire story of Portal 2, and they turned it into like they took Portal 1, which was just this game that was all about its mechanic that had really no story, and then because of all this fun little side stuff that like was hidden, they were Easter eggs. They incorporated that into Portal 2 as like the main story, which is really really fun. I think that's one of the biggest examples of like a tiny fun Easter egg that the developers put in to like goof off, blowing up and becoming this bigger thing than they ever could have expected. Another one I have here is any Mega Man X fans out there. Uh, so in Mega Man X, in 4 specific levels, there are secret like armor pieces that you can gain, and if you get all of these armor pieces, you become insanely strong, and it gives you the Ryu Hadouken move. As Mega Man, he just goes Hadouken, and it's pretty incredible. And like that's one of those things where, as a kid, like pre-internet, no one knew about them. And like one person would like find one piece and like, look at how cool it is! I got these boots that make me run faster. And someone else could be like, oh yeah, I got this helmet that like doubled my health or whatever. I don't remember exactly what every piece did. And then like between you and your friends all talking about it, and if you manage to collect all of the pieces, you get this super cool armor that makes you insanely strong and references Street Fighter. So yeah, just like stuff like that, I just love so much.
I think one of my favorites is in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. If you eventually you get like a jetpack, and if you jetpack to the top of what would be like the equivalent of the San Francisco the Golden Gate Bridge, there's just a sign that says there is no Easter egg here, go away, or something like that. Like,
See,
funny.
that's brilliant. And I know
That's
there's
clever.
there's all the stuff with Grand Theft Auto with like the Sasquatch stuff. And
yeah,
there's that like
stuff is-
yeah.
the whole
the aliens.
yeah, a lot of fun stuff there, for sure.
Oh,
They
God,
always
there's
have
like
fun with it.
There's a whole Reddit subreddit dedicated, like that was dedicated to it. I think it was called like the whatever the mountain's called, like the something mystery, and like people were trying to like solve this complex like mystery, and I like there was nothing there.
No.
It was all just coincidences.
So, do you guys have any more that you can think of? I have one more.
Oh yeah, I think the most famous example and probably my favorite also is Totaka's song.
I'm not familiar.
Do you guys not know about Totaka's song?
Nope.
No.
So basically, Kazumi Totaka is a sound designer for Nintendo, and every one of the games that he works on, he inserts this 8-bar melody somewhere hidden in the game, and it's just a neat thing that people find. And it's once you hear it, it's like very recognizable. I think the earliest example that isn't technically the earliest iteration of it is Mario Paint. So originally it was in Mario Paint, and then people started noticing it from there. Like if you're on Luigi's Mansion, if you go to one of the configuration screens and sit on the screen for 3.5 minutes, it plays the song. And it's in a ton of games. It's in like Yoshi's Story, all the Animal Crossings, including New Horizons. So it's still around to this day. Super Smash Bros, Pikmin 2. So Mario Kart 8. There's a long list of games that this is in.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's one of my
cool.
favorites. It's like and it's a cute little melody. So that I thought that one you guys would have known about. That one's a famous one.
Yeah, not familiar.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
One of my favorites, I think, is from Borderlands 2.
Are you going to talk about the Minecraft room?
Well, I was thinking about it, but then we talked about like what actually constitutes a Easter egg and what doesn't. And the fact that that became a room with enemies and whatnot, and it was like part of the game mechanics. At that point, it's just kind of like a secret area that you find, not really an
I think
Easter egg.
I think it counts though, because like you fight a creeper,
Yeah.
but it's not like you're fighting a creeper. Like it basically just blows up.
And there's no quest, I think, that leads you there.
No, you just kind of find it.
It's just like a special. It's not like the double rainbow quest.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that a,
In
is that a
fact,
quest, or is that an Easter egg?
I
It's just
knew
an
that it
Easter
was
egg.
there.
That was my
Yeah, is that what
my
you're gonna
thing.
say? The double
Yeah,
rainbow?
you go to the Hyperion base, and then you like look off to the distance, like in the mountains, and you see the double
Right.
rainbow, and then either Claptrap or Handsome Jack say the double rainbow thing.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
It
if
was a
anything,
great.
I knew where the Minecraft. I knew that the Minecraft room was a thing, and I still couldn't find it.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
I never found it.
I remember. So this was like college. I played I had played Borderlands 1 to death by this point, and then like my college roommate and like my freshman year friends like discovered Borderlands and were like, hey, we're all gonna play Borderlands co-op together, like, do you want to play? And I was like, I mean, I played it like 4 times, but I guess I'll play it again. So I played it with my roommate, and then Borderlands 2 came out and we all played Borderlands 2 together, and one of our friends like discovered the Minecraft room, and then someone else so we're all playing, and we're like, oh, you got to show us what this is. And then same thing with the double rainbow thing. He was like, guys, you got to I got to show you this thing. Like, if you go you go up this hill and it's on this special, you jump down to here and you talk to whatever, and then they do the double rainbow thing. It's like that's the cool part of Easter eggs, when like your friend finds it and is like telling you like, dude, you got to do this. Like, here, hop in the game with me, we'll do it, or whatever. Like, that's I love that part of it.
I have one more left on my list. Derek, you may be familiar with this. Halo 3. Red versus Blue was like a part of Halo becoming so big. They were like synonymous with each other. If you were a Halo fan, you watched Red versus Blue. And in Halo 3, was it Griff and someone else? They were so basically a couple of the Rooster Teeth guys.
It was Gus and Jeff.
But I
can't remember what characters they played.
So it's Griff and Griff is Jeff and Gus plays Simmons.
Simmons, yes. Yeah.
And they're just having like a really dumb conversation, and I don't remember what it is, and I'm absolutely gonna look it up after this.
Yeah. It's like
they're trying to convince someone to come out from like behind a door, right?
Yeah. Or maybe they're behind the door. And someone's trying to convince them to come out.
But it's like, it's very clearly the Red versus Blue, like their characters from Red versus, and it's just so funny. And then they did it again, I think in Halo 4, they did it with Conan O'Brien, and who's the guy who does everything with Conan?
Andy Richter?
Yeah, and it's the two of them just talking to him, like, it's so out of place in the Halo universe, and it's very clearly Conan O'Brien. So I feel like stuff like that, where they just have famous people come in and be like, yeah, just say whatever you want. And it's like off in some weird corner of the map that you shouldn't be in, but if you go there and you stand there for a couple seconds, this conversation boots up. I love those. Especially those.
There's like a special trigger, and I mean, Halo. I feel like Halo is kind of great for those things. Especially, I guess you wouldn't consider all of them Easter eggs, because like some of them are like special lines or whatever are triggered by like skulls or whatever. But it like, I think there's one in Halo 5, or is it 4? Which one had like the like side campaign through multiplayer?
Side campaign through multiplayer?
I think it was 4. There's like another Easter egg where if you like shoot a certain piece of something on a certain level, like a certain audio like triggers. It's very stupid, but it's like another one of those things. I can't remember what one that was. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. All right, does anyone have any other ones that they wanted to bring up? Seems like we're kind of wrapping up here for the most part.
Would you consider the Metal Gear Solid 3 the end fight an Easter egg?
Derek? The fact that if you sit there for like a certain amount of hours, he'll die.
Yeah.
You think that's a secret?
No.
I think it's just secret Kojima wizard powers, or
that's just secret
kind of like the beginning of not Just Cause.
All right, goodbye, Derek.
Oh, we lost Derek.
There he is.
Kind of like the beginning of Far Cry 3, where the guy's like, "Stay here, I'll be back," and you're supposed to leave the cage.
Yeah, and
if you just stay, the game ends. He's like, he lets you go, and he's like, "All right, cool.
All right, let's go."
Yeah, I think it's more similar to that, where that's just like a fun secret.
Okay, yeah, that's the only other thing. And before we defined kind of how we interpreted Easter eggs, I was going to bring up Okami's constant references to Clover Studios and Beautiful Joe. But doesn't count.
All right, cool. Then it sounds like we're done here.
I've got one more.
All right, give it to us, Derek.
And just because I talked about it earlier, but in Halo 3 ODST, there is a poster with a picture of Earth on it in like a random indoor room. I think it actually appears a couple times that says "Destiny awaits."
Yep, I remember this.
Yeah, which was a subtle hint at Destiny. I think they've claimed that it wasn't, but I know it definitely was.
Yeah, that's like a whole.
It's one of those things where it's like, no, we know what you were doing.
That's a whole subset of Easter eggs where I know for a while Ubisoft was teasing the next Assassin's Creed game in like whatever their previous game was.
In the games, yeah.
Yeah. So those are always really fun. And wasn't there a thing in Arkham Asylum that like teased Arkham Knight or something?
It was in Arkham City. If you found like there was a submarine that had a tied like inmate in it that had been like afflicted by fear gas, and all over the submarine walls it said like "I am coming" and like "fear me" or something is coming, whatever. And it was just like all like scarecrow gibberish, but it was clearly like Scarecrow's doing, and it teased what was coming up in the next game.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, when a game has like a super hidden thing and you don't necessarily know it's teasing the next game, but in hindsight you're like, yo, this was pointing to their next big thing. That's always really fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
The coolest part about that Easter egg actually was the fact that we thought that he was dead.
Yeah, because you fight him in the first game, right?
In the first game, you fight him and he gets grabbed by Killer Croc and dragged into the sewers. So we assumed that he was dead.
I need to play those games. I never have. Everyone talks very highly of them.
Really?
So good.
Oh my god.
Backlog?
You need to.
We should put them in the backlog. At least the first one. The first
For
one's
sure.
Arkham Asylum, and I don't think it's very
Arkham
long.
Asylum.
That
Nope's
game
going in.
that game defined like the behind the back brawler like superhero action game.
It really makes you feel like Batman.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that was a great conversation we had about Easter eggs. Happy Easter, everyone who cares about such things. But
do you guys think Jesus will see his shadow this year?
let's wrap up this episode as we always do, and we're gonna do some trivia. If there's anyone in the chat who wants to participate in the trivia, feel free. Type your answers in the chat. Reminder to you sharks here on the cast: you are not allowed to answer trivia questions or look at the chat to find answers to the trivia questions. But we are going to talk about. Initially I had the idea, I was like, okay, maybe we can have the topic be Easter eggs or secrets in games, but I was like, they are all so hyper specific, and if you don't know about it, then you don't know about it, and there's just no chance of guessing. So I was like, all right, that's not really an option. So instead, I decided to go with the one that I thought was one of the biggest from my list. Let's do some Portal trivia, because why not?
Ooh, okay.
I think personally,
All right.
I personally think Portal 2 is one of the greatest video games of all time. Like
top 10 for sure.
And that's not just like my personal favorites; it's in my personal.
That's an
top
objective
5.
fact, Jeff.
Yes, it is
Portal 2
objectively
is one of the greatest video games ever made.
Yes, so I figured. I think everyone here has played both of the Portal games. So I felt
Not
like
for a long time.
Andrew,
yes.
no. Ugh. All right.
I haven't played them, but I've seen gameplay of them. I played the co-op mode in Portal 2.
All right. So let's go through this and we'll see how it goes. Question number 1. What is the name of the company that invented the portal gun? And for those of you who don't know, the questions get harder as they go. They start off pretty easy. I'm fully expecting you all to know the answer to this. Andrew, we're going to have you go first as the person who hasn't played the Portal games. What is the name of the company that invented the portal gun?
Aperture Science.
Derek?
Aperture Science.
Jose?
Aperture Science.
Adam?
Yeah, it's Aperture.
All right.
Do what we must because we can.
1 point for all of you, and also a point for Flame Shadow in chat.
I may not have played Portal, but I did download for free Still Alive for Rock Band 2 on the Wii.
That is an incredible song. All right. Question number 2. Who are the two robots that you play as in the co-op mode? Andrew, you said you've played the co-op mode. Do you remember the name of the two robots that you play as?
Do I get a point for each of them?
Nope, you need to get both of them to get 1 point.
Because I remember one of them.
All right. Let's see. I think we're gonna have Adam go first here.
Yeah, I didn't play the co-op mode, so
No guesses?
orange and blue. I got nothing here.
Those are some colors. What about you,
Those
Jose?
colors.
Atlas and Peabody.
Andrew?
See, I remembered Peabody, but I didn't remember Atlas.
See, I remembered Atlas, but I didn't remember Peabody.
All right. So
Eric and I each get half a point.
only a point goes to Jose. Atlas and
Let's
Peabody
go.
is correct. Flame Shadow in chat got Atlas, but not Peabody. Question number 3. In Portal 2, what color is the repulsion gel? And that's the one that makes you bounce off of surfaces. Just as a reminder.
Ooh.
I still have the answer in my doc as
got me second guessing.
as arms, which was the answer to last week's question number 3. So I need to. I think I remember off the top of my head, but I need to look it up real quick.
The one, you said the one that makes you bounce.
Yes,
right?
the repulsion gel, which is the
Repulsion
one that makes
Not the propulsion gel.
correct the repulsion gel. So yeah, you bounce off of this. We're gonna have no, Jose's in the lead. He's gonna go last. We're gonna have Adam go first here.
Was it green?
Andrew,
Blue.
Derek,
Red.
Jose.
Orange.
It's blue.
Oh,
What is the? I thought the blue was
damn.
Blue is the repulsion. Orange is the propulsion. So that's like
Propulsion.
that's the super slick one.
Damn it! I got them mixed up.
You did, and then there's the white one that makes it so that you can put portals on any surface.
Yeah.
That game is so good. I love that game. All right, so
And it was made of moon dust.
it was made of moon dust. That's a good job, Derek. Flame Shadow said orange. She only has 1 point. All right, question number 4. I feel like this one probably should have been lower down on the list. Who voiced Cave Johnson, one of the greatest video game characters of all time? Adam's got quite the thinking face on. So unfortunately, Adam, we're coming to you first, buddy.
I'm gonna burn your house down with the lemons.
I have no idea.
Take a guess.
I can't even narrow this down.
No, you're gonna
Adam,
abstain.
name a woman.
A man.
Eric gets it.
Name a
For
woman.
For $1, name a woman.
What are those again? I just go on. I got
Okay, Adam's got nothing.
Oh.
Derek,
my pass.
J.K. Simmons.
Jose,
J.K. Simmons.
Andrew.
J.K. Simmons.
It is J.K. Simmons.
If I knew what he sounded like, I would have gotten that.
One of the greatest performances in all of video games. All right. So, we're going into question 5. Adam is at 1 point. Derek and Twitch chat is at 2 points. Andrew and Jose have 3 points. All right. Question number 5. What type of cake is the portal cake? So,
Like, how specific do we need to be?
like, you need to know the name of the cake. Like, it's a very specific type of cake.
Okay.
So the story goes that they used to go to a bakery right outside of the studio, and this was their favorite cake, and they'd buy it, and then that's why they put it in the game. And then after that, once the game blew up and the whole Cake is Alive thing blew up, everyone went to this place, and I think they said the sales of that cake grew like 400% or something.
Wow.
It's a very specific type of cake, so you also need to have like a background in baking, or just be a big Portal fan. Adam, you have no chance of winning.
Yeah, I got nothing.
So, what type of cake is it?
Was it red velvet cake? I don't know.
Derek, you need this to tie.
Shit, I also said red velvet cake.
Andrew,
Fair enough.
Death by chocolate.
Jose,
I think it was called like Black Forest.
Jose is correct.
Oh.
It was a
Wow.
Black Forest cake. Holy shit!
Wow.
What a
Alright.
good.
Okay. So
Guess.
then riddle me this, Jeff.
Mhm.
What is a black forest cake?
Google it. It's like a vanilla cake. Oh no, it's a chocolate cake with the vanilla frosting and like chocolate shavings, and it's got that like ring of cherries on top. And I think it's a very specific type of chocolate as well.
Yeah,
inside the
it's
cake.
it's like a dark chocolate.
Mm.
The only reason I know that is because I watched a YouTuber called Binging with Babish,
Oh yeah.
and
Babish.
he made
Love Babish.
he's great. He made the portal cake, and I barely remember him saying Black Forest.
Yeah.
The only time I remember.
You know why I thought it was Death by Chocolate is because the portal cake topper in Rocket League looks extremely similar to a Death by Chocolate.
All right, well, congratulations, Jose. You are the winner of this week's trivia. Tiebreaker question that we don't need, but we're going to ask it for fun. How many chapters are in Portal 2?
14.
29.
17.
16?
9.
9.
Oh,
Just
only
9.
nine?
Not a ton. All right.
Derek, 29.
Well, that
You got the
brings
nine,
us
right?
to the end of this episode of the Game Sharks podcast. You can find us on Twitter. What did we? Game Sharks Cast on Twitter, because there's a character limit. You can find us on Instagram, Game Sharks Podcast. You can find our website, thegamesharks.com. We have a Loop Hero review in the works. I'm pretty sure. I don't know when that's going to get to. Hopefully soon. Not by any of us. Who's doing it? You'll find out when it comes out. We are on YouTube. We are officially putting up all of our episodes on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is just called The Game Sharks. Go find us there if you want to watch us. We have our webcams, so if we ever have any type of show and tell, you just want to see our beautiful faces, you can find us. Go subscribe to us on YouTube so you can watch our episodes there. You can find the podcast anywhere you can find a podcast streaming service. We're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're on iTunes. And lastly, you can send us an email, gamesharkspodcast@yahoo.com. Send us any trivia questions you have. What are your favorite Easter eggs in video games? We would love to hear from you. And I want to be clear, it's Game Sharks Podcast. I was thinking to myself, I was like, maybe people try to send emails and they're just sending it to Game Shark, singular, podcast. It is Sharks, plural, Game Sharks Podcast@yahoo.com.
For legal reasons.
Yeah, because we had to. But with that, we are Finn.
Black Forest Gâteau, or Schwarzenwalder Kirschtorte.
My favorite.